emotional temperature to remain available to you. It is not an emotion that visits when you feel deserving and withdraws when you feel small, or when the gap between what you believe and what you experience becomes difficult to explain. It is a source that does not run out, always moving, always available, always wooing every part of you it touches. It surrounds you the way water surrounds a river stone, constantly in contact, wearing away the rough edges with patient persistence, shaping something in you that could not be shaped any other way. When you are exhausted from the effort of staying afloat, when the weight of what you have been living with has made even the smallest movement feel costly, this is where you find true rest. Not the rest of escape, not the rest that requires everything to be resolved before it becomes available. Real rest. Rest that exists in the middle of the difficulty, in the eye of the storm, in the interior of whatever has been pressing against you with such force. My arms are not dependent on your circumstances to remain open to you. There is no wound beyond my reach. Not the wounds left by other people's choices that hit you without warning. Not the wounds that came from losing something you had built your life around. Not the wounds that opened slowly over years of carrying weight you were never designed to carry alone. Every one of those wounds has a corresponding truth in me, and that truth is restoration. Where there has been pain, I am bringing something different, something that does not pretend the wound was not real, but works from the inside out to rebuild what was broken. Where anxiety has carved channels through your peace, the living water of what I speak over you is filling those channels with something that holds, something that does not drain away when the next difficult thing arrives. And here is what I want you to receive deeply, not at the surface level of information, but in the actual soil of your believing. This is not happening because you earned it. Beyond your merit, beyond your achievement, beyond any score you could assign to your performance, my goodness is active on your behalf. My favor rests upon you, not as a reward for what you have done right, but as an expression of who I am and how I have chosen to regard you from the beginning. Walk in confidence, because I am with you. There is no longer any reason to move through your days bracing for impact, waiting for the next thing to go wrong, holding yourself small in hopes of avoiding the next wave. That posture of perpetual guardedness is exhausting, and it does not actually protect you. What protects you is not your vigilance, but my presence. Walk forward with the knowledge that the one who governs the storms is the same one who walks beside you through each one. What looked impossible does not remain impossible in my hands. The doors that need to open will open, not because you found the right approach after exhausting every wrong one, but because the one who places and removes doors has spoken concerning your situation. Receive what I am giving you now. No circumstance can revoke it. It is yours, and it will continue with you, carrying you forward into a life of genuine fullness, free from the kind of conflict that has been trying to define your story. Let me speak now about something specific that anxiety does to a person over time. It does not arrive and announce itself as a permanent resident. It arrives as a temporary guest, a response to a real threat, a reasonable caution in the face of real danger, and somewhere in the extended stay, it stops being a response and becomes a habit. It becomes the default lens. The posture of waiting for the worst to happen gets practiced so many times that the muscles settle into it even when the threat has passed. You find yourself tightening before the difficulty actually arrives, tensing against an impact that may not come, spending the resources of your peace on scenarios that exist only in the anxious imagination. I know this pattern. I know it because I know you, and I want to speak directly into it. The river of my word is not only meant to comfort you in the middle of the hard times. It is meant to carve new channels in the landscape of how you think, to redirect the flow of your attention from what might go wrong toward what I am already doing right. Every time you return to what I have said, every time you choose to let my voice be louder than the voice of fear, the riverbed deepens, the channel widens, the water flows with less resistance toward the places it was always meant to reach. Even when the wounds of earlier times rise up, and try to remind you of their depth. I will be the voice that speaks more insistently of what I am doing to restore you. The rejection you experienced, the isolation, the places where you searched for belonging and found only more distance, those chapters are behind you. A new one has begun. In my presence you discover the care and the tenderness your heart has been longing for through all the searching. You are a person of tremendous worth in my sight, not because you have reached some threshold of worthiness, but because you are mine and I have declared your value. The walk ahead will not be defined by the same uncertainties that have characterized the stretch behind you. In my care, you find the security and the sense of direction you thought you had lost. You will move through this new chapter with expectation, knowing that my love is not just above you, but underneath you, the very ground on which you stand. Where sorrow once settled in, something else is taking up residence. Where uncertainty occupied the interior rooms of your life and arranged the furniture of your daily experience to reflect its own anxious conclusions, peace is moving in and rearranging things. Not by force, not by demanding that the sorrow vacate immediately, but by being more present, more persistent, more real than the sorrow could sustain itself against. From this point forward, my tenderness and grace accompany you through every kind of terrain, not only the easy stretches, but the difficult ones, not only the days when things are going right, but the days when they are not. And in my presence, in the actual experience of walking close to me, you will find a kind of flourishing that cannot be manufactured by better circumstances. My children do not surrender, however the pressure comes. However, many times the wave rises, they do not put down what they are carrying and walk away from the path. They do not abandon the journey. They may slow down. They may need to stop and catch their breath. They may cry. They may have days when the progress is invisible, but they do not turn back. And to those who demonstrate that kind of persisting loyalty, who keep believing even when belief feels like an act of will with nothing supporting it, who keep their face turned toward me even when the wind is against them and the visible evidence is mixed, I make myself known in ways that surpass ordinary explanation. I am not an idea. I am not a theology. I am the God who acts in the real conditions of real lives, in situations exactly as difficult and specific as the one you are navigating right now. There is a kind of courage that does not look like what the world calls courage. It does not announce itself. It does not perform. It simply gets up one more time. It simply keeps showing up at the edge of what it believes when the believing is difficult. It simply refuses to close the hand around what remains of hope, choosing instead to keep the hand open even when the hand is trembling. That is what I see in you, not the absence of fear, because the fear has been present and I am not pretending otherwise. What I see is the decision you keep making, quietly, without applause, to keep placing your weight on what I have said rather than on what the storm is saying. That decision is not small. That decision is the kind of thing that becomes the foundation of everything built after the storm has passed. And I am honoring it. I am noticing it. Every act of persisting trust that you have offered through the difficulty has been received by me, and none of it has been wasted. Receive these promises not as inspirational language, but as the operating instructions for your actual future. My love is eternal. My goodness reaches into every dimension of your life so that you can live with the quiet interior certainty that you will not be abandoned in the middle of what you are going through. You are not on a road that ends in a wilderness with no guide. You are walking with me, and the road I walk does not end in waste. Consider what it means that I am a God who does not change. The love I have extended to you in this moment, the same love that has surrounded you through every season, including the ones where you were not looking for it, including the ones where you were actively moving away from it. What I am is not contingent on what you do. The river does not stop running because the ground above it is dry. The tree's roots do not retreat because the surface is parched. My character is fixed, and my character toward you is love. This means that the goodness I am moving toward you right now is not a limited time availability, that depends on your performance or your spiritual condition at any given moment. It is as reliable as the nature of the one who sends it, and the one who sends it does not change. There is a day coming when everything that has caused grief will be behind you permanently, when the ache of loss will no longer follow you into ordinary moments, when there will be no more pain from being treated as though you do not matter, no more of the particular exhaustion of being misunderstood by the people who should understand you best. That day is coming, and it is closer than it has ever been. But while you are in the season that precedes it, use this time well. Let what I am saying work its way into the ground of how you think. Let it change the questions you ask about your future. Keep the flame of faith burning in you, not from the exhausting effort of maintaining something fragile, but from the simple and repeated act of returning to my presence, staying in conversation with me, letting my words be the thing you return to when the noise of everything else gets too loud. I am with you at every moment, not in the theoretical sense of a God who is everywhere in principle, but specifically present in the actual landscape of what you are going through, helping you keep your eyes toward what I have prepared. The future I have arranged for you is not a consolation prize. It is not the life you would have had if things had gone better, slightly revised for disappointment. It is something I have been building with intention and care, something that accounts for everything you have been through, something that makes use of exactly the person that the difficult seasons have been shaping you into. Write your prayer in the quiet of your heart. Speak it to me. Bring whatever is in you openly into my presence, without preparation, without editing it into something more acceptable. Great things come to those who remain established in my word, who plant themselves in what I have said and refuse to be uprooted by what they cannot yet see. I will not stop speaking to you. I will keep finding ways to reach you, to write my words on your spirit until they are so deeply embedded that nothing from the outside could extract them from you. This is the truth. I love you. There have been times when you missed the mark, and I have forgiven every one of them fully. There is no condemnation standing over you. What stands over you is love. What surrounds you is mercy. What runs toward you, not reluctantly but eagerly, is forgiveness. I bless you with genuine peace, with the kind of health that starts from the inside and works outward, with a quietness of spirit that is not indifference, but trust, with strength that is renewed rather than depleted by the challenges you face, with wisdom that makes you more useful, with gifts that have been present in you longer than you have known. The strength I am giving you is not simply the strength to endure, though endurance is something I will give you. What I am building in you is deeper than the capacity to survive difficulty. It is the kind of inner solidity that allows you to move through difficulty without being defined by it, to pass through the storm without the storm becoming your permanent address. There are people who have been through hard things and come out the other side carrying the experience, a weight that never fully leaves them. And there are people who have been through equally hard things and come out carrying the experience, something different, as a depth, as a well that others can drink from, as a credibility that earns them the trust of people who are in the middle of their own difficult seasons. I am shaping you into the second kind of person, not because the difficulty was good in itself, but because in my hands even the most difficult things become useful. Even the wounds become the places where others find their way in. For your family and for you there is a purpose and a specific destiny unfolding, not according to what the world has said about your limitations or your possibilities, but according to what I have written about your future in a language that no circumstance can revise. I want you to flourish in every genuine way as your knowledge of me deepens. Do not let unbelief take from you the future that has been prepared. Do not let it dismantle what has been built for you through difficulty and mercy in equal measure. If you choose to trust, if you give your loyalty to what I say and let it govern how you walk, then every road you travel will be secured against the forces that would try to undo what I have established in your life. This is real. You are already living a life that carries a dimension beyond what is ordinarily visible, whether or not you can see all